But let's get into J. Cole.
You don't have to have the features. You don't have to drop the single. You don't have to have the radio record before they put your album out. You don't have to follow them rules. You can put out what you love and still sell records if you connecting with people. It ain't gonna be overnight.
Yeah.
You can do art first and then build the business around that. That's what I figured out and that's what I've been doing.
The art first.
Definitely.
I'm gonna let you go
Cold
because
world.
I know I can go on this one.
Cold world. Yeah, no, and you know what? This is for some of the people who are super analytical, are like extremely strategic. Like you're so systematic, and you really have to think through all the pieces.
I see the keywords. I see the keywords.
You know what I'm
I see
saying?
what you did there. I see what you did there.
Trying to play it right, but it's definitely for those folks who identify as such and never give themselves permission, to do things out of order, because in your mind it has to be perfect first, right? Or it's got to be a certain way. And I think you get to see an awesome example of one of the best artists of our generation. And yes, I just did say that. We are.
That's big. That's big.
Yeah.
That's big. I don't know. He just
hang
dropped
my
the
head
bomb.
on that. I'm gonna hang my head on that. I'm a big J. Cole fan. I like J. Cole's work a lot. I think there's
I'm gonna
a
let
lot
that
of,
go still. I'm gonna let that.
Yeah. But anyway, but my point is, regardless of how you feel about him, you can't argue that the man is successful, right? In his specific lane, in his industry, you can't argue that he's successful. And when you listen to the full length of that interview, he's really talking about how when he started with Jay, he was so caught up in the like living up to the expectations and the business and this. But that's not who he was. So sometimes you really just got to give yourself permission to do things out of order sometimes so that you can let some sort of momentum begin to build up. And once that happens, right, what you're going for begins to, you get a nice little rhythm going. It's like you start, instead of pushing uphill all the time, it's like you turn a corner and start coming downhill now. It's a little easier, right? Like you find your rhythm, you find your momentum, you find your flow. So I like that he says that, because I think for a lot of people, you see it one way, or here's another thing that we often see, and I'm trying to merge worlds, right? Like going into some of the things that I hear or problems that I see with teams and businesses or organizations and bringing it into this context. One of the biggest challenges that people are having right now, and why they're struggling in their businesses to keep open or to keep people engaged through working in virtual spaces, is that they have not adapted or changed. They want to stick to how they did things traditionally. And in today's world, nothing is traditional about COVID. Like nothing that we used to do is the same today, right? Like literally, if you think about your entire year, everything, how we do everything has changed. So another part of that, what creates a challenge, is for those who are just stuck in the past, how it was done or how they see others doing it. So you're trying to follow those blueprints. That's when it doesn't line up, Nix.
I agree. I think this, this clip hits more from my creative side, because it shows that you don't necessarily have to move with money first. You don't necessarily have to move on the business side first. It all comes together when you honestly love what you do. Like you're honestly doing it because you want to. I think you put more energy towards the things you have passion, the love for, the things that you create, the things that you do. You have more love for it than the things that you feel like you have to produce. The things that they tell you to do, the things that they force you to do. Though the check may be good, the opportunities could be blessed, it's still not going to be the same compared to what you want to put out, right? And when we look at it from kind of like an artist standpoint of any sort, right? We think of sometimes the people first. So if we're talking about music, what's going to be the hit? What's going to get people, you know, rocking it in their cars and the clubs and everything like that? What is going to have radio play when that was a situation? And it's not until maybe you're probably third or fourth album till you're like, I created this for me. Like I've created such a um a solid fan base that now I can start creating stuff for me and I know they're gonna rock with me. Like they get to see my true side.
Yeah.
And if we look at how J. Cole did his first album was to be on the charts, was to impress Jay and be like, yo, I got a radio hit, with Workout. And we look at that, and even from a standpoint of how we are online, like we always look for that viral hit. We always look for what can make people like really rock with this kind of content. And it really is something different when you create what you want to create and that hits and that works. And that's what people are buying into. And people are buying not only into what you create, but everything around that. So when he said that, it brought confirmation that you don't necessarily have to go with what the blueprint was before. You can now create your own blueprint based off your passion and your love and your energy towards what you want to create. And create doesn't necessarily mean from an artistic standpoint only. It can mean from a business standpoint. Like, what business do you want to create? And if you have passion for it, if you have energy for it, it doesn't necessarily have to go the same route as everybody else did.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you think about it too, like in today's world, there are no rules. There are no rules. People are doing things backwards, upside down, reverse order, remix all the time. Because there are other elements that are becoming more important.
Right.
Like the element of connection.
Right.
And the element of honesty. Just being 100% like very straightforward and direct. That's another element that now is really coming before and breaking records than someone who has traditionally done things in the perfect order of how it needs to go. And don't get me wrong, there are elements, like there are universal laws that you need to follow, right? Like you cannot say, well, I'm about to do things backwards. I'm gonna put gas in my car after the engine blows up. It's like, okay, buddy, my friend, that's a universal law, right? Like you have to, the gas comes first, right? Like that's just, I'm not saying go crazy with it, right? But there are some things that today, honestly, it doesn't matter like what order you follow or how you go about it. So, yeah.
These are facts. These are all facts. Shout out to J. Cole.